so excited to start this class with you. I asked a couple of people, and I just want to ask a very quick question of all of you. Have you done stage combat before? So if you've already answered, I got you. But if you have done stage combat and you want to let me know what kind of stage combat you've done, please do let me know in the chat, because I would love to hear from you. So Kiki says she did slapping and punching. Awesome. With Mr. Frome. Very cool. Unarmed with sword. Sam, that's awesome. Love sword work myself. Hi, we have Yael coming in. Very cool. We have Kayla coming in. Welcome, welcome. Awesome. Very cool. Let me know in the chat. We're going to get started here. And we're going to be moving fast and furious. The first thing that we really do have to do, though, is to just get warmed up. We have to make sure our bodies are stretched, have to make sure we're ready to move, because if we don't, that's when we can get injured, and that's not my favorite thing in the world to do. So I know I can't see you, but I'm just going to trust that you're following me and do your best, because the big thing about this warm-up is that you just keep moving. Don't let anything stop you. If you're confused about something, do another stretch. Just keep moving, okay? So I want you to stretch just like you would stretch as if you are waking up for the first time today. And you might be. I don't know. Maybe you slept until 2. It's a Saturday, right? Might as well. Big stretches. If you want to make a big yawn, that's good too. Just stretch whatever you feel needs to be stretched here for 1 minute. Whoa. Woo. Very good. Awesome. Next thing that we need to do is we have to get the blood pumping, because if we don't get the blood pumping, if we don't have our muscles warmed up, then we're going to get injured, right? So first thing you're going to do is we're just going to take a nice little jog. Just like you're out in the park. Although it's pretty smoky outside for me right now, unfortunately. But that's okay. I can take a jog inside. Take deep breaths as you're jogging. Keep moving, keep moving. Very good. And as you start to jog a little bit harder, you're going to start lifting your knees. Lifting your knees into a high knee jog. Keep going, keep going. And slow that back down. Nice, easy jog. Breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Good. Keep jogging. Now we're going to do butt kicks. So you're going to try and bring your heels to your glutes. Awesome. Keep going, keep going, keep going. Good. And slow that down. And this is my favorite one. Try to do high knees while you're kicking your butt. If you do it for me while I can't see you, you get an A+ in this class. Awesome job. Very nice, everybody. So we're going to move basically top down with the rest of our stretches so that we can warm up every single part of our body, because we are going to be using every single part. Start with the neck. So just nice, easy neck rolls. From one side to the other. Good. Make sure that you're not crunching anything, right? We're just trying to lengthen the muscles. Good. You're going to drop your right ear to your right shoulder as if your right shoulder has a secret. Then you're going to take your right hand, place it on the top of your head here, and you're going to pull your shoulder, or your head rather, away from this shoulder. Almost like you're trying to pop this head off of the shoulder, and then you're going to reach out with your left hand to the side here. Good. Keep breathing, keep breathing. And switch that. Left ear to left shoulder. Right arm reaches out. Pull the head away from the shoulder. Don't pull down. Pull away. Welcome, welcome. Got some new friends in here. Good. Now we're going to drop our chins to our chest. We're going to interlace our fingers, and we're going to pull the head away from the shoulders again. I'm trying to pull in this direction here, not pulling down. Trying to lengthen all those muscles. Very good. Roll your shoulders forward. And roll your shoulders backward. And if anything, just keep moving. Just keep moving. Because the warmer we get, the easier all of these actions are going to be. Because we are going to need flexibility. We're going to need a lot of stuff here. Good. So now I'm going to have my feet. I know you can't see my feet right now, but I want your feet to be about shoulder width apart, and you're going to have your arms just hanging dead by your side. You're not going to be doing anything. And all I want you to do is twist from your hip, so that your arms swing. Oh, I'm too close to my punching bag. Here you go. Big arm swings. Keep breathing, keep breathing. Good. Awesome. I'm going to try and tilt my camera down here just a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing with my legs. I hope that's enough. You are going to grab your ankle, essentially, and bring it up to your glute so that we're stretching out our hamstring muscle here. If you are able to drive your hip forward, I'll try and show you here, drive the hip forward while you're pulling this ankle back, you're going to have a much better stretch. Good. And switch that up, left leg. If you need to grab the wall or grab a chair or whatever for balance, that's cool in my book. Do what you gotta do. Awesome. Very nice. And now the last thing that we're gonna do, we're just gonna do a nice, easy forward fold. Yeah, so I'm just going to roll down from my head to my knees, basically. And I'm gonna let my arms hang here in front. Ugh. Good. And while you're down here, make sure to breathe. I don't know if you know this, but I'll give you a fact that hopefully you can take with you for the rest of your life. Did you know, and you might have heard this me say this before, did you know that if you don't breathe, you die? It's true. It's just a fact of life. I just want to let you know. You might not have heard that before. Good. Awesome. And nice and easy. Roll up vertebrae by vertebrae. Let your head be the last thing to come up. Last thing we're going to do, just roll out the wrists, roll out the ankles. So, my friends, we are going to be doing quite a bit today, and we're going to be moving at a fast pace. So, some of you have said that you have done some combat, which is awesome. I love that. And if we have done combat before, have you done falls? Anybody, just say yes really quick if you've done falls in stage combat. Now I have to see some new people. Awesome. Very cool, very cool. Got Aaron, got Polly. At some point at least. Anybody done falls? Doesn't look like it. Okay, cool. So we're going to be learning some new stuff. Oh, you have Sam. Awesome. So this might be a review, but it's going to be a good review because it's always good to review the basics. So we are going to go over a fall first, and then I'm going to give you a combination that you're going to do the attacker side and the receiver side, and we're just going to move, okay? So the fall, though, is very, very important. There's 4 steps to any fall that I ever do. My first step is going to be to check my space, okay? If I'm going to fall backwards right now, right? If I'm falling backwards, I'm not in a good spot because this wall is right behind me, and I'm probably going to smash my back or my head into it. So the first thing I want you to do, wherever you are, is make sure you have enough space to fall backwards, yeah? I have this big, long hallway behind me, so I'm going to use that. Great. The next thing you need to do is to lower your center of gravity, and to do that, I am going to, I'll show you a little, no, not pause. Don't end. Great. Okay. I'm going to show you a little bit more of the floor here so that I can show you the whole fall. I'm going to be taking a big step back with my dominant leg. If you're right-footed or right-handed, then you're going to be taking the step back on your right and vice versa if you're left-handed. So I'm going to take a big step back, whoom, all the way behind me, almost like a backwards lunge with my right. You'll notice that I'm also stepping a little bit out to my side so I have somewhere to fall behind me. Because if I step directly behind myself, I can't fall backwards, right? So off to the side. The next thing I'm going to do, step number 3, is going to be to counterbalance. Counterbalance means I'm throwing all of my weight from my hips up forward so that I don't fall backward, right? Because really what we're doing is we're controlling our descent. So I'm going to reach forward with my arms, reach forward with my torso, my head, everything as I get as low as possible to the ground. Then my last step is basically my landing. And I want you to think about landing on soft spots. On your leg, your glute, your butt muscle, that's your softest spot, right? That's where you're going to want to land. And you're going to want to land on the straight leg side, your non-dominant side, right? So I'm going to take that step back, reach everything forward, and try and land onto my left glute. Yeah? That's our basic fall. I'm going to let you practice that for just 30 seconds. If you have questions about that, please put them in the chat. I'm going to keep doing it so you can see what I'm doing. But if you have questions, please do put them in the chat. So, step number 1. check your space, check your surroundings. Step number 2, lower your center of gravity by taking that big step backwards, right? Step number 3, to counterbalance, which I didn't do very well right there. I'm going to counterbalance by reaching everything forward. And step number 4 is land on my soft spots. Keep trying it. I'll do it on my other foot so you can see. So I'm going to step back to my left now. I'm going to reach everything forward and land on my soft spots. One quick note about your landing. If I'm landing on my left side, I want to roll down my left side of my back. That's going to keep my vertebrae safe, because if you roll down the center of your spine here, you are going to notice that you're going to get these bunch of little bruises on your back, and I don't want that. So you want to roll down the side of your back here. Ever so slightly. I'm just reaching kind of to my left if my left foot is forward. Very good. All right. No questions so far, so I think we're good. If you do have questions, please do let me know, because I'm going to keep moving fast. Okay. I'm going to take that as a no. Awesome. So next thing that we're going to do, remember the fall, okay, in your head. That's going to come into play later. The next thing that we're going to focus on is oh my gosh, my phone fell. Is a combination here where I'm going to show you basically 3 moves in a row, and you're going to practice with me. So the moves that we're going to do are a jab, a hook punch, and a knee, okay? And we're going to do them in quick succession. I'm going to show you what it looks like with my punching bag here, and then I'll show you exactly what I mean when I say all these things, yeah? So it's going to start, I'll just show it to you once at speed, and then I'll break it down a little bit. So we go jab, hook, yeah? I'll show it to you again. Jab, hook, yeah? Lots of loud noise, don't worry about it. Nothing's breaking, I promise you. There's just a fan behind my punching bag. So that's the combination that we are going to learn together. There's some very, very technical elements to all of these things, right? But the main things that I want you to focus on are, right now, if you don't have a punching bag, you're totally fine. Just practice as if you're hitting the air, okay? So just fight with an imaginary partner, but your partner is going to be in front of you the whole time. So it'll make it easier for you. It's not going to be off to your side or anything, right? So if anybody knows anything about boxing or fighting in general, you will know that a jab always comes from your lead foot. So if I'm jabbing with my left, which is my non-dominant hand, which I do want, you are going to be stepping forward with your left foot. Try and show you my feet here just a little bit more. I think that'll stay. Left foot forward, right? And my guard is up. You can have it a little bit farther down for stage purposes and camera purposes to make sure they can see your face, or you can keep it up here. Either one is fine with me, right? The jab itself, what a jab is just a stunning blow. It's something for me to reach out, make contact, and gauge my distance. That's all I want to do here. I just want to see, am I close enough to actually touch my opponent, right? Big note about the jab, watch my wrist. I'll do it a little bit closer here. See how straight my wrist is? All of this is in good alignment. If I start doing stuff like this or like this, I'm going to start getting hurt because those little bones in my wrists are not going to like it very much. So keeping my wrist straight, left foot forward, hands up. I'm just going to throw my punch out directly in front of me. I am turning my body just a little bit because it's going to turn my hips for my hook punch here in a second, right? Jab, that's the first one. The next one is a hook. So the hook is really, really important that you think about moving from your hips. Just like we did the stretch earlier in the class where I had you sort of have your arms down by your side, swing from here. That's the idea I want you to have, but this is your starting position, right from the jab. You jab, you start the action from your hips. My hand hasn't even moved yet, right? Then as it starts moving, I'm going to prep my punch as it's coming through. I have basically a 90-degree angle in my elbow, and that's what I'm using to make contact here as I come through. I'm not going to make it flush. It's not going to be completely to the side. You're not going to get to that angle from this distance, okay? So don't worry about that. If you make it almost a little bit on the diagonal, that's totally fine, and that's what I want you to think about. Again, you're punching the air, but I want you to imagine what you are hitting, right? Imagine there's contact here, and then imagine there's contact here. So we're just going to practice those 2 moves in a row a couple times, okay? So we're going to do jab, hook, yeah? Jab, hook, jab, hook. Keep practicing that, and if you have questions, please do let me know in the chat, because I would love to see if there's something confusing about what I'm doing, or if something doesn't make quite enough sense to you. Please do put it in the chat right now. I'll give you like 30 seconds. I told you we'd be moving fast, but we got it. We only have 25 minutes left after this. Crazy. Is that Corey? Hey, Corey. What's up, man? Awesome. Very cool. Okay. No worries. No questions. That's awesome. So then I'm going to take out my punching bag so you can see what it looks like without a target. Gone. Everything remains the same, right? I'm imagining my partner here in front of me, probably about arm's length away. Yeah? So I'm just going to turn my body slightly as I do my jab, and then I'm going to rotate my hips as I throw that hook. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. The illusion of power in stage combat and in fighting in general always comes from the legs and the hips. If I'm just moving my arms, that looks really weak, right? I don't want you doing that. I want you thinking about your hips. Even here, I am technically rotating my hips. By turning my body, I have rotated my hips, right? And then as I come through with this one, bang, I'm really getting a lot of power in that second punch. I'm going to give you also, this darn phone. I'm also going to give you a little bit of a tip here with your feet, okay? So make sure my phone doesn't fall again. And I'll just back up. I'll have to talk loud. Watch my back foot here, okay? So if I'm doing this jab, then hook, do you see how my back heel lifts up and my knee drops? That's super essential. If you don't pick up your heel, you're going to get trapped and you're going to feel like you're not able to swing that punch at all, right? So it's jab. You can even be a little bit on the ball of your foot with the jab. That's totally fine. And then as you rotate, turn that heel up, bend the knee. Sometimes what I like to think about when I'm doing this punch specifically is to think about bopping a gopher on the head who's just popped up out of the ground, right? So there's a gopher right here, and I'm like, not today, gopher, bang! And I just want to bop him on the head like I'm playing whack-a-mole with my knees, yeah? Awesome. Got more people joining. Very cool. So that's the combo. Keep practicing. Jab with your left, hook with your right. 1, 2. Try and keep it in that rhythm. 1, 2. See if you can add some breath with it. Yeah? Practice it for about 10 more seconds, and then we're going to flip it. We're going to go right hand forward. Glad to see so many people here. That's awesome. Great. So we're going to flip it. Now you're going to do everything with your right foot forward, which means that your jab hand has changed actually, right? So I'm going to be jabbing with my right, and now I'm going to be hooking with my left. Remember everything in the legs, right? My foot's coming up, my heel's coming up, my knee is bending a little bit as I'm hooking that punch. 1, 2. 1, 2. That was more of a straight. 1, 2. There we go. 1, 2. This side is going to feel more difficult, I promise you, and that's okay. You always want to be able to practice both sides so you can be ambidextrous in stage combat. Even with sword work, I want to be able to do everything I can with my right hand the exact same as I do with my left, yeah? So those are the first 2 moves. We're going to move on to our third move, which is going to use a whole different kind of attack. We're going to use our knees, okay? So the knee attack, in this case, I'm imagining that I'm doing an illusion. So I am not actually going to be making contact in the illusion itself, but I am going to make contact with my punching bag so that you can see what it would mean to make contact, yeah? So I'm going to go back to left foot forward, my comfortable foot forward, and I'm going to do my basic 1-2 punch, right? Jab, hook. My back foot right now, all my weight is kind of on my left, my forward foot right now, which leaves my right foot free to come up with this knee. I don't really care what your foot is doing. If you want to point it, that's okay. If you want to flex it, that's fine with me too. That's not what I'm focused on. What I really am focused on, though, is seeing if you can drive the knee forward. And I'm doing that by also driving my hips forward. If I don't drive my hips forward, right, I go jab, hook, knee, I'm not going to get the distance. I have to actually reach forward with this knee by driving my hip, yeah? So we're going to go left, right, knee, yeah? Again, if you don't have a punching bag, you're just punching the air. So I'm just going to show you what it looks like from here. We go left, right, knee, yeah? A little bit faster. The breath really, really helps. Helps with balance, helps with the illusion of power the whole way through. Jab, cross, knee. Jab, hook, knee. That's what I mean. Jab, hook, knee. Yeah? Keep practicing that for 10 seconds. Let's see if they have any questions. I'm just going to check the chat real quick. Everybody doing okay? Haven't lost anybody yet? Or are you tired? I'm tired. I know that. Cool. Awesome. All right. We're going to keep moving. So that's our 3-move combo, right? We're going to go left, right, knee. One more time. Left, right, knee. Keep going with me. See if you can find a very specific rhythm with the moves that you're doing, right? You might be doing the first 2 very close together. That's cool. And then the third one might come in a little bit later. Kind of like putting a rhythm on a tempo. If you want to keep your tempo slow, that's totally cool, right? I can go so I can keep my balance the whole time, but the rhythm has stayed the same, right? Ba, ba, ba. And if I just speed up the tempo, it becomes, yeah? I'm keeping the same rhythm, just changing my tempo, and it completely changes the dynamic of the moves, right? Awesome. Very cool. Try it on the other foot. It's going to feel weird. Right foot forward. We're just going to move forward. Left jab, right hook, left knee this time. Yeah? Right jab, left hook, left knee. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Try different rhythms. Keep going. Keep going. Keep practicing. It is going to be tough, and you're going to sweat a little bit, but it's going to be good for you. Awesome. Please put questions in the chat if you have them, but I'm going to keep moving. Switch my feet again. One more. Very good. Very good. So, do we all understand the combo? I know I can't get yeses or nos, but if you want to put like a thumbs up or a yes in the chat, that would be awesome for me. Give us a little small break here because we're about halfway through the class. So if you just want to put a quick yes that makes sense or no that doesn't make sense, that would be awesome. Or we'll just keep moving, which is cool with me too. Who do we have? Okay, we got a like. That tells me that you understand too. That works for me. If you just want to put a like in there. Awesome. Very cool. Glad you like it, Sam. Glad you're enjoying it. I'm glad you're understanding. Who else we got? Yes, awesome. Very cool. So we are going to move on now to the other side of things. We're going to move on to the reactor side. So the reactor side is very, very technical. The attacker side, we can we always have to be aware of safety, right? We always want to make sure we're not actually hitting our partner. But because we don't have a partner today, we're not going to talk a ton about distance. But just so you understand what I'm talking about when I mean distance, is if I'm throwing my punches, normally I would want to just make contacts here with the jab. I want to drive through with my hook and drive through with my knee, right? Everything that we're doing with that, I just want you to back it off 6 to 8 inches. So instead of actually hitting the bag, here I'll bring this back. Instead of actually hitting the bag, I just want to back off just a little bit. Here, I'll tilt this way. I just want to back off to here so that I can go 1, 2, 3 and never touch the bag, never touch my partner. Yeah? Yeah? So now that you have had that imaginary partner where you were like, oh, I'm going to make contact with him, now just back it off. Yeah? That's what I want you to think about especially because as a person receiving these hits, you probably don't want to get punched in the nose or the cheek or get hit in the stomach or groin with a knee, right? Not going to feel great while you're on stage. You want to be able to play these things. So distance is super, super important. So keep that in mind. On the reactor side of things, we have what are a very specific technical stage combat term that I'm curious to see if you know, that is a replacement for the sound of impact. Does anybody know what we call this or this? We have a very specific word. Those of you who have done stage combat before, you might know it. It kind of rhymes with clap, if that's a clue for you. Anybody? Bueller? Bueller? That might be too old of a reference for you guys. That's okay. So the move that, or the technical element that we're using is called a nap. K-N-A-P. I'm going to put it here in the chat really quick for you, just so that you can see it. It is called a nap. K-N-A-P. And that is basically what we use for the moment of impact, right? As I'm getting slapped, I might make a clap nap. If I'm getting punched, I might make a small nap like this on my chest. I might make one on my leg, right? There's a ton of places that we can use naps. In camera work, we don't actually nap at all. We never make naps because that takes somebody's job away. The Foley artist is the person responsible for putting sounds in afterwards in post. But also, it's just too obvious on camera. You're always going to be able to see it, no matter how good you are. On stage, you can get away with it a little bit more because people are so much farther away from you, right? So we're going to do naps today so that you can practice them. But the basics of a nap are this. I want you to think about sound, then movement. And it does actually replicate real life in a very specific way. If I'm watching a slow motion slap video, which I love, go watch them if you haven't. I watch it and I see the hand come in slow motion, right? I see it make contact. I see the face ripple for a second, right? That kind of like big rippling effect that happens on the face. And then the whole head moves afterwards. That moment where you see the contact, that's when you would hear a sound, right? So the movement happens after that. So that's what we always have to replicate. It avoids you from going early as you react in terms of your reaction, right? If you think about moving everything at once, right? I'm going to start actually moving before my sound has happened, right? I'll try and do it in slow motion here. If I'm trying to think about my hands moving together and my head moving at the same time, by the time I've made the sound, my head's already gone, right? So I want to think, hear the sound, then move my head, yeah? So general rule of thumb, sound, then movement. So the first move that we did was a jab. So we're just going to take a very, very simple reaction, but there's a chance that you could hurt yourself, so I want you to pay attention to this. The thing that I want you to pay attention to is not crunching your neck, right? If I start doing this at a high speed, all of these vertebrae are not going to be very happy with me tomorrow morning. So what I want you to think about is to cheat your chin down and then just lift to a normal position. And if you do that at speed, right, it can look as if there's impact, right? And it looks as if my jaw kind of got pushed into my chest a little bit and then I reacted. And that's what we want without hurting our necks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a nap with our hands, basically a small little clap, like a golf clap, very genteel, right? But just one of them. And I'm going to have my fingers pass through my palm, just like that, right? Sorry if that's loud on camera. Yeah? And then from there, I'm going to do my reaction. So I go here, cheat the chin down, lift up. Almost as if I'm making a check mark with my chin, right? Without crunching my neck. So practice that 1 or 2 times. Just slow sound reaction. Oh. And then you can even add some vocals to it, right? Some like pain. You just got punched in the jaw. That can't feel good. Oh. Right? Play around with it. Once you've done that, once you've kind of gotten the sense of that, if you have questions, please put them in the chat. But we're going to keep moving because we only have like 15 minutes left. We're going to talk about the reaction to the jaw, the hook punch here. So now I want you to do a different kind of nap. I'm going to make you practice going from here to a different kind of nap really, really fast, just so that you have something to drill. So you're going to have the first nap, boom, and immediately after that, we're going to imagine that we are getting caught with that hook. For right now, I don't really care which way your head goes. I just want you to imagine that you can see the opponent either punching you this way or punching you this way. Fair? So we go jab reaction, nap here on the chest, kind of like if I'm pledging allegiance to the flag, that's where I want my hand to be, right on the muscle of my pectoral. Yeah, not up here on my collarbone, not below any sensitive areas. I just want to be right on the muscle. So I make a nap here, slightly curved hand, so you get a little more air trapped, and then move your head. You don't have to whip your head all the way over your shoulder and give yourself whiplash. Not necessary, right? I only have to move my head to about a 45-degree angle. I promise you at speed, that looks plenty great, right? And if you whip it back to center and you get this sort of like double effect where you almost look like a bobblehead, that really starts to look like a big hit for somebody, right? And you can make some sound afterwards. Be careful that you're not making sound on top of your nap. If you cover your nap, the sound of the impact is going to be less impactful, right? So if I make a nap as I'm talking, it becomes a lot harder for you to hear both or either of them, right? So leave the nap in the clear, leave your sound for afterwards. So the two moves in a row are, we're going to nap with our hands as we do the jab reaction, and then we're going to nap on our chest as we move to the side, right? 1, 2. 1, 2. You can try it to the other side. 1, 2. And you can do it with either hand. As long as you're hiding it from the audience, totally cool with me. Practice that for like 10 seconds. I'm going to check the chat, see if you have any questions. Anybody, oh my gosh, this phone. Anybody have any questions about what we've done so far? No? Okay. You guys are all experts. I love that. Very cool. If you do, though, please put them in. I will check later. And now we're going to talk about the last element of what we're doing. We're going to talk about the stomach reaction. So if I'm getting kneed in the stomach or possibly the groin, you can kind of choose where the injury is going to be. I want you to just think about the amount of noise that you're going to make, right? It's going to be different than if you are making sound for a punch, right? I always like to equate it to stubbing my toe. If I stub my toe, the vocal that I make is not going to be a low and guttural one, right? That would look really weird if I stubbed my toe and I'm like, ooh, right? It just doesn't sound right to an audience. Versus if I keep it high-pitched, that is actually much more accurate to real life. If I go to here, ah, ooh, 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 right? We start to believe that a little bit more. So as a general rule of thumb, I know I'm giving you a lot of these today, but we are moving fast. General rule of thumb, hits to your extremities, your fingers, your head, your toes, your knees, your elbows, those are going to have very high-pitched vocals, right? If you whack your funny bones, ah, it's going to have a higher-pitched tone. Versus if I get hit in the chest, the groin, my stomach, those are going to be low and guttural, right? If you've ever been hit in the stomach, you know what I mean. Or if you've ever fallen on your back and lost all your breath, that's the kind of vocal I'm talking about, where you get hit, ooh, and it becomes this low, guttural, and almost like an O sound that you're making with your mouth. That's what I want you to think about. For this one, I don't even want you to worry about a nap. We're going to do 2 naps where we're doing the clap nap for the jab. We're going to do the punch nap here on our chest, boom, and then you're going to leave everything open. Because if you did have a partner and they had to drive their knee forward, you don't want to put your fingers out here so they get jammed. Not great. So I want you to leave your hands out here in the open as you practice isolating from this spot. If I'm getting hit in the stomach, I'm going to move my stomach first. I'm not going to move my hips because that wouldn't make sense. That would be more of like a groin hit, right? If I get hit in the groin, oh, that might work. But I want to make the illusion as if I'm getting hit in the stomach. So I'm just going to make my vocal as I'm moving. So I am covering where the nap would have been. So I'm breaking my rules here just a little bit. Yeah? But again, isolating from my stomach, curving my back a little bit, but I'm also not dropping my head. If I drop my head, 1, you can't hear me as well, and 2, you can't see my reaction, which is what I really want to see when you guys are doing your fights. I want to see what your character is going through. I want to see the pain. I want to see the frustration, I want to see the anger, whatever is going through, I want to see it on your face. So as you do your reaction, oof, keep your head up and toward camera or toward your audience so that we can understand what is happening to your character. So as a recap, we have 3 reactions in a row, pretty quick, but you can do this at a slow tempo, right? You can just change the rhythm. 1, we have our jab reaction with our clap nap, yeah? That's 1. Then I'm going to do a chest snap as I move to the side, one way or the other. Doesn't matter to me. Boom. Then you're going to leave everything in the clear as you take your gut knee reaction. Oof. And keep your head up. Yeah? So a little bit faster pace kind of looks like this. We go, oh, oh, oh. Yeah? Show it to you again. Oh, oh, oh. And see if you can just change up the vocals, right? Different vocals, playing around with things. You might make a sound that you were like, that was terrible. I would never do that on stage, and that's okay. At least you tried it. Or you might do a vocal that you're like, that one actually sounded like I expected it to sound, and that's really, really great, and I want you to focus on that as well. Do that for 10 seconds. If you have questions, again, please put them in the chat. I'd love to hear them. Welcome those who are joining late. I know that we've covered a lot from the top of this class. So those of you who have joined late might be kind of wondering what's going on, which is totally fine. I'm going to show you a recap with the last 5 minutes I have. I'm going to show you a recap of everything we've done super, super speed. Okay. So we started with a warm up. You can do your own warm up. That's totally fine. Then we moved on to our combo. So our combo, I use a punching bag, but I don't want you to use anything. I just want you to imagine somebody in front of you. And you are going to think about jab, hook, knee. That's the combo I want you to do. Jab, hook, knee. Yeah? Then you take the punching bag away so that I can show you in real time. Yeah? 1, 2, 3. Always thinking about power from the hips, driving from your hips. That's going to be what really, really, that's what really, really helps us. And yes, the full class is going to be on IGTV later today so that you can check it out, get a recap. And then after we talked about the combo, we talked about how to react to the combo. So we did a clap nap, boom, we did a punch reaction, boom, and then we did the stomach reaction. So essentially, you're doing one fight, you're just doing both sides of the fight. Awesome. Hi, Talia. Nice to see you. Good, I'm glad you like it. Nice, Danielle. Awesome. So that was a really, really quick recap. Didn't even take me 1 minute. Do you have any questions? These don't have to be questions about the class here. They could be about a class in general. They could be about stage combat. They could be about stunts. We'll take like 1, maybe 2 minutes just to answer some questions, and then we'll wrap it up. And I'll post this so that everybody else can see it. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns, rude remarks in the form of a question, anything like that. No? Okay, got some other people joining. What is it like being set on fire? That's a very good question. I have been set on fire, and I will tell you it's actually very, very cold. And it's very, very cold because of the gel that you are put in. So you get into this sort of like spandex suit that they put you in that has been soaked in this ice cold fire retardant gel. And then you put that on, you put 4 or 5 layers of clothes on, and then you put a burn layer on. And the burn layer is what they are hoping is going to burn away before they put you out. And so you're freezing. Right before they light you, you are absolutely freezing. Then they light you up. You're not allowed to breathe. You have to keep moving, because if you don't stop moving, the fire will start to burn through more of those layers. So you keep it moving. And if you breathe in any of that smoke or any of that flame, you could hurt your lungs. So you're asked to not breathe at all. And you kind of just make a face as you're flailing around. And then once you feel like you can't hold your breath anymore or it gets too hot, you hit the ground and they come at you with the fire extinguishers and they put you right out. So that is what it is like to be lit on fire. And if you do it with very trained safety teams, and if you go to the right schools and you practice under the right people, it can be a very exhilarating experience, but also scary. Ever actually been injured accidentally during a stage fight? That's a very good question as well. I have come very close, but I've never been seriously injured. The closest I came was in a knife fight that I did, where I was on the ground and my partner was supposed to be stabbing at my face. They were stabbing offline for safety purposes, and I was supposed to block it. When we do blocks, there's a lot of safety elements. I won't go into that. But what happened was my partner actually tripped. He tripped over me, and the knife did come towards my face, and it caught me on the corner of my eye and slid off. But whew, very, very close. Thanks, Corey. Nice. But yeah, close call, but no serious injuries. Do you prefer doing stunts on stage or on camera? That's a good question. I don't know. They're different. They're very, very different. On stage, you kind of only got one shot. You have to do it right, and you have to get it right. But you're also trying to do it 8 times in a week, right? You might be doing a fight multiple times in a week, and you have to keep yourself safe that way. Versus a stunt, you might be doing 2 or 3 takes of like a fire burn, but once you get it, right? It's immortalized on film, so you don't actually have to worry about it. So there's differences. What's harder about stage, I will say, with fighting is hiding naps, making sure your illusions work for more people, versus on camera, you only have one perspective to make something work for. So if I'm trying to make it look like I've hit a punching bag when I didn't actually hit a punching bag, right? I need to get my fist here behind the punching bag, and I can't go like that, right? On stage, that kind of illusion becomes a lot tougher, but on camera, it gets a little bit simpler in some ways, more complicated in others, but I don't have a ton of time. Awesome. Very cool. Like the comments on the different levels. Nice. Thanks, Corey. Awesome. All right, y'all. I'm out of breath. I'm stoked that you all enjoyed it. How do you start doing stunts on camera? It is a very tight circle. I'll answer this last question, and then I'll head out. It is a tight circle, and you just kind of have to know who to hustle. You know what I mean? You have to find the right stunt coordinators. I've been lucky that I have found stunt coordinators. I've actually worked with Johnny Depp's stunt double from the Pirates movies. That was a really, really cool experience. And he told me a lot. He gave me a lot of really good info. So it's just knowing people and still doing and keep working, just keep hustling. And if you're a good person and a kind person, you know, they'll invite you in. So awesome. Thank you all so much. I had a really great time teaching you. Awesome. Great. I hope you guys when we do a longer class, I hope you join, because I would love to see your faces and actually be able to give you some notes and help you out, because that would be really, really cool. Oh, sorry, Ella, we just stopped the class. That's okay, because this class, just as a reminder, will be available on IGTV. I'm going to stop the recording, and then we'll put it up there. Awesome. Very cool. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Have a good